Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Technical.Smith, and today I'll be discussing with you the complicated process of creating a football. To explain this process, which includes different elements in crafting, I will first discuss the early football, how it was created, and its early evolution. I will then secondly discuss in depth the materials used to create the football itself. And finally, I will tell you the actual crafting used in creating the ball. Have you ever looked at your life and the everyday objects in it and been curious as to how they might have been made? Maybe you ask yourself how they change screens on a cell phone, how some of the world's most interesting buildings are built, or maybe the process used to make something as simple as a marble. Personally, I ask myself how they made one of the main components of the sport I love and play every day, and that's football. Over the last couple years, so much of the game's attention has been focused on the helmet, obviously for a big reason as it protects the human brain. Another part of the reason so much focus has been focused on this helmet is because of CTE. I've done multiple speeches on both CTE and helmets, but I've never thought to ask questions about the rest of my sport. I've been around the game of football for about 10 years now, and the reason I chose this area to discuss it was based off of pure interest. When I was choosing a topic, I asked myself how well I really do my sport. Obviously, I can play it, I can learn new aspects of it every day. I train for it year round, and it controls most of my life. Though my entrance was a simple question, how do you make these things? Footballs. Another question for those reading would be, how would you know the aspects of your everyday life? You'll find it might not be as much as you thought. The first game of what one would call football took place in 1869 on November 6th. You would find that day not your modern type of football, but rather one that was much rounder, like a volleyball or soccer ball. Back then, the game was a combination of rugby and soccer. It wasn't until 5 years later that the ball was transformed slightly to a ball replicating the likes of a rugby ball. This style of ball we used until about 1912 and was very difficult to throw. This kept the game simple with lots of runs, tosses, and flips from teammates. This went on for years until the ball was changed to its official size of today in 1935. In 1941, the game started to change as the first major quarterback started to arise. Wilson, a major company in producing footballs, purchased the name rights to the football, which was once called the Duke, and changed it to what people of today know as the official NFL football. The NFL and AFL tried many types of footballs before the perfect type was found. They tried rubber balls for a time and even threw white paint on for darker games, as so people could see the ball. This gave the game issues though, because with painting the football, it made it a lot harder to catch as it was so slick. In 1976, they banned these balls for that exact reason though. They were simply too slick to play with. An original leather was used in 1955, but around 1981, a new leather was used to help increase the grip. Now that you know some background on the topic, let's get into discussion. The chemicals used to create a football are quite simple and from my research can be used for many things. The new leather I discussed earlier is known as Ultra Pebble, which is a type of design which it does exactly what I told you, helps increase grip. The inside of the ball is made of high-tech 3-ply polyurethane. This is the bladder. This is a highly adhesive chemical compound that is also used for things like roller coasters and or skateboard wheels. The third ingredient used for the inside of the football has remained a secret to this day and is still inside Wilson's facilities. Even when people go to the facility and take tours, they block off this section of Wilson's facilities as to not let the secret out. As for the laces of the ball, they have also been improved throughout the years. One would think they could simply throw any type of lace at the ball and it would work. This is not true. The once cotton-like substance continues to increase. The current lace is made of extruded polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, as most of you probably heard of PVC pipe. What is this exactly? It comes in either a rigid or flexible form and is extremely durable in either form. PVC is also produced things like bank cards as in debit and credit cards, or rigid forms, pipes like I discussed earlier, or the outlining of doors and windows. All these materials take time to make and are extremely valuable to the company. They're also very reliable and enjoyed by millions of people across the world for their multiple uses. Wilson themselves has only switched their supplier twice. Now on to making the football itself. The crafting of the football is quite simple. They take cowhide, which is used mainly because of its long-lasting ability, and cut it into 4 pieces. They will then brand the logo of whichever company is making the ball and brand it along with whatever else the company would like to onto the ball itself. Next, they will sew cotton lining inside the ball. This helps strengthen the skin of the ball. The top section is then sewn together along with the bottom section. The company has yet to ever release how many stitches are exactly used to sew together the sections. A hole is placed into the top section. This is where the airway to pump the ball is placed. All of the seams are pressed in order to make the ball smoother. They are also steamed for 15 seconds so that the crafter may manipulate the ball in order to do the full job. The bladder, which was inside of the ball I discussed earlier, made of polyurethane, is placed inside of the ball, the cowhide. It is only slightly pumped up so that the laces may be put into place. The laces cut exactly 4 feet and then placed inside of the holes on top of the ball. The ball is placed inside of an egg-like chamber and then inflated to its final weight, 12.5 psi to 13.5 psi. You now have yourself an NFL football. And as you can see here, these are the laces I discussed. And here is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of the cowhide, and they sew them together. And then here's the stamped emblems of Wilson. Today I've discussed with you the advanced components and processes of crafting NFL football. I share with you the evolution of the football itself, the materials used in creating the football, and how the football is actually made. There are unknown interests hiding right in our face most of the time. And when we as people really sit down and take a look, we can find more interesting things than we know what to do with. The things that I showed you here on the football can also be found on my slides. There's a video link there to YouTube on how it's made, and it will show you exactly what I talked about in my last paragraph. Thank you.